Hey Knights! So for that last video, I said 3, and then by the time I finished it, I realized I did 2 chapters. So I'm going to do 4 for this next video, just to kind of, yeah. So this will be 28 to 31. So chapter 28. I faded in and out. I remember being carried. Then a while later, Leonardo saying, "Raph, get her to the shell raiser. We will create a diversion." Then the sounds of lasers firing. When I woke again, the pain was gone, but everything was fuzzy inside my brain. Raphael was setting me down in a tiny alleyway. He stepped to the side to look and see if we were being followed. It took every ounce of my strength to get to my knees and stand up. The alleyway seemed to be spinning around and around. As soon as I did, I fell forward. Like a flash, Raph caught me, and I landed against his chest. We were pressed between the buildings of the crumpled alleyway. "Rise and shine. Are you okay?" Then he shook his head. "Of course you're not okay. You just got hit by kunai mutagen." I should have seen this coming. I should have kept a better eye on you. But in my daze, I didn't pay attention to the word he was saying. Instead, all I thought about was how warm his voice sounded, and how nice it was to be held by him again. Instead, I put my hands on his shoulders and used the last of my strength to pull myself closer and kiss him. Fireworks went off inside my very fuzzy brain. It was different. Being a turtle, he didn't have what you might call lips. Not unpleasant. In fact, it was very pleasant, just different than what I was used to. He pulled back, wide-eyed and in shock. "What the shell was that for?" he asked, stunned. "It was an experiment for Donatello," I replied, watching pretty stars float before my eyes. I wanted to see what it would be like kissing someone with no lips. My strength was completely gone now, and I slumped against his chest plate. The alley was fading away now. Sure, whatever you say, Roxanne," he whispered, rolling his eyes, doubting my current sanity. Everything went black. I stood in the same white hallways, same plush robe. It felt good to be standing on solid ground and not being bounced around. My mind was clear. I could think straight. Oh no, did I just kiss Raphael? I blushed cherry tomato red. Well, my mind was being played like a yo-yo during the effects of the mutagen. I tried to brush it off to myself. "Your Highness," I called out into the whiteness. In a flash of green, she appeared in front of me. "Hello, Roxanne," she replied cheerfully. Yes, for once she didn't call me child. "It's quite funny to see the mess you've gotten yourself into," she replied, laughing. Her heavenly accented laughter seemed to light up the room as it bubbled out of her. "What happened to me? Am I going to be okay?" I asked, showing her my ring, which was still glowing the bright lime color instead of its usual emerald. "I don't know, child. I'm the goddess of travel. That isn't really my area of expertise." This isn't good. She saw my worried look. "Don't worry. As soon as you return to Earth, 1, your body and your ring will be healed completely. And your ring should heal itself within a few days. I don't know what side effects it will have till then, but I'm almost positive you will be fine." Almost. She said almost. The white room faded away. My dreams were violent and painful. I dreamt of falling and my brother being swallowed in a giant wave of mutagen, with me being just seconds too late to save him. I woke with a gasp. "She's awake!" cried Michelangelo's voice from beside me. I turned my head and saw him sitting on the floor beside me. "Guys, she's awake!" he cried louder, with much relief in his voice. He had been sitting there with me all night. Everyone raced to my side at the couch. "Oh, thank goodness, you're awake," sighed Leonardo. I felt something hard under my back. I reached down and felt for it. It was my shell. "I'm a turtle," I cried. "Yeah, well, join the club," Raphael joked, but with much relief in his voice. "You kept transforming back and forth all night. You finally stopped about 3 hours ago. You seem stable now," Donatello said while placing his hands on my forehead to check my temperature. "How do you feel?" asked Michelangelo. "Great. Well, at least way better than I did last night." My cheeks burned at the now foggy memory of my kiss with Raphael. If he brings it up, deny everything, I told myself. I stood up. I have to see if I could still transform back into my human self. I walked forward and steadied myself, willing myself to turn back. I struggled for a few seconds, but eventually felt the familiar warm feeling of the change. Thankfully, when I looked down, my body was human. I ran my hand through my hair and sighed in relief. Roxanne, what did you do?" yelled Donatello from behind me. I swiftly turned around, and my eyes were met with the sight of 4 naked teenage boys. Chapter 29. Holy Mother Gallifrey! I cried, turning away and covering my eyes. Cover yourselves, I ordered. Why? Asked Michelangelo. Why? Why, he asks. Well, because I'm going to have a mindgasm if I get another look at them. Damn, my innocent eyes, and not so innocent mind. Because it's inappropriate, that's why. You don't have shells anymore. Oh, right, said a naked Leonardo from behind me. One sec, Mikey's voice played out from behind me. I stared awkwardly at the four, feeling my eyes locked on the faded purple rug. Okay, a very nervous Donatello told me. I turned around. They were seated on the couch, my faded red blanket draped across their laps. I gasped as I got a look at them. They were exactly as I had pictured they'd look like as humans. From sitting down, they all looked like they were the same height as when they were mutants, which isn't very tall. They all looked slightly Asian, but just so little you could barely tell it was there. They all looked so alike, but slightly different, like the quadruplets that they are, except for the high hair and eye color. Leonardo had straight, sleek black hair that made him look slightly more Japanese than the rest, his dark blue eyes almost the same shade as his mask. Donatello, tallest of them all, had a rich brown curls. Jonas hair, I joked to myself. He had hair like this boy band rock star that one of the showgirls had been obsessed with a couple years back. Nick Jonas, I think was his name. He had one of those intelligent but cute faces. A hot genius, like Spencer from Criminal Minds. Ugh, my favorite character from that show, by the way. Michelangelo. Damn, golden skin, blonde curls that brought out his intense baby blue eyes. Then I looked at Raph. Just like I had told him, it's how he looked. Sleeked back here with red tips and way bigger shoulders than his brother. Yeah, he'd definitely be the catcher in this flying trapeze act. Hubba hubba, I don't think I've ever seen a collection of such gorgeous men in one place in real life before. Each one of them was like, damn. Raph caught me staring. Are we done talking yet? He smirked. Yeah, human or turtle, he's still cocky as ever. I want to know where the shell is my shell, exclaimed Leonardo, running a hand over his bare human back. I don't know, I scratched my head. They all looked exactly as I pictured they would. Wait, they looked exactly as I pictured they would. That's it, I mumbled to myself. What's it? Asked Donatello, who was very nervously staring at his hands and then counting his own fingers. I struggled again to change back into turtle. It was much harder than usual, but eventually I managed. When I opened my eyes, they were their normal shell-backed selves. 3 fingers, thank goodness, Michelangelo hugged his own hand. Then I felt the sudden urge to change back, so on impulse I did. Oh man, whined Mikey, looking at his now 5-fingered hand. The mutation didn't affect my ring. It messed with the powers that bind me to you. So instead of me feeding off your essence, ours have now merged together. So when I change, you change. I saw the confusion and slight fear in the 4 naked teenage voice. I tried to comfort them. Don't worry, it's only temporary. By my calculations, it should wear off in a few days. So I guess you guys just enjoy it. Enjoy it? How are you supposed to enjoy being a pathetic human? You need to change us back, yelled Raphael. Pathetic human? Cool it, Ralph. I was human once too, and I used that much power in staying mutant for that long. If I do, my ring might never heal, and we will be bound like this forever, I yelled back. I heard the paper door slide open. What is going on out here? Is Roxanne okay? I cannot meditate with all this yelling, his voice rang out across the subway. Oh shit, Master Splinter. Why do I get the feeling this is gonna really tick him off? The boys looked at me wide-eyed, probably thinking the same thing. Humans? Why are there more humans here? Where are my sons? He yelled at me as he walked behind the couch. Father? Leonardo whimpered, as the boys slowly turned their heads around to look at this. Leonardo whimpered, as the boys slowly turned their heads around to look at the 7-foot rat. His cane fell out of his hands, stunned silent. My sons? Chapter 30. After Splinter's initial shocks went away, I quickly explained to him exactly what had happened, and that it was an accident, not a fault of me or my gang or of former Turtles, now human ninja brothers, and how Leonardo did warn me not to touch the mutagen, and how I did so only to save Karayan. At first, he looked upset that I expected him to throw a chair at me any second now, but once I explained that it was only temporary and should reverse in a few days, he relaxed a bit. I picked up his green staff off the floor and cautiously handed it to him. He hesitated, but accepted, then removed it out of my hands. I sighed in relief and took that as a sign of forgiveness. So are we not grounded till we're 40 then? Mikey asked in disbelief. No, I believe everything happens for a reason, replied the rat before looking me straight in the eyes. Some reasons are more understandable than others. Then his gaze averted back to his sons. But there is a reason here, considering this a learning opportunity. I was human once as well. Now it is your turn. Roxanne has been walking miles in your shoes, figuratively speaking. Now it is your turn. Sure, just as long as those shoes don't have 6-inch heels. I don't think I could do a mile in those, smirked the red-headed former Ninja Turtle. Yeah, those would clash with your purse, chuckled Michelangelo. I decided to call April and warn her. You did what? She yelled at me after I told her. I'm sure the boys and Splinter heard, as the guys were still seated on the couch, and Splinter still taking this in. Had decided to seat himself at the table.
Wi-Fi still working?
No.
It isn't?
No. I have to restart the computer later.
Sorry, computer.
I know, but it would make me feel better.
Because all the Wi-Fi in the house is down.
Okay, and that just leaves me more videos to...
Why is that working then?
Because even if the internet's down and I have a certain story open, or if it's in my library, I can read it.
You can?
Yeah.
Good, because I have stuff on my Wi-Fi that I wanted to read.
I don't need Wi-Fi as long as it's a story that I already have in my library.
Good, I have like 2 stories in my library now. Hey, for letting me know that.
I walked out of earshot. April, I need you to do something for me. Less than 20 minutes of awkward silence later, she rushed through the doors and handed me a backpack full of her clothes. Great, you brought it, I said, thankfully pulling it out of her hands. Then she took a double take when she caught sight of the turtles, humans. Yeah, any money she's thinking the same thing I was when I saw them. And that thought would be damn. I noticed Donatello shyly pulling his part of the blanket up to his neck, covering himself the second she looked at him. Man, you weren't kidding, she said with her eyes wide. But then again, this shouldn't surprise me. First, giant teenage turtles, then a parallel dimension traveling circus freak. The fun never ends around here. I unzipped the backpack and pulled out several neatly folded yellow t-shirts. Man, this girl in that color. You're not expecting us to wear girl clothes, are you? Leonardo raised an eyebrow at the extra small, sunshine-colored shirts in my hands. Just trust me on this. I rummaged around through the bag, finding 4 pairs of jeans, some undergarments, and a light blue cotton jacket. April blushed when I pulled out her also bright yellow briefs. Mikey giggled, and I could see that the other guys were trying to hold their laughter back for April's sake. Hush, I told them through a grin. At least she's wearing clothes, which is more than I can say for you for at the moment. And exactly whose fault is that again? Donatello blamed me jokingly. Okay, Mr. Smartmouth, guess who just volunteered to get dressed first, I said, placing my hand on my hip. That wiped the smirk right off of his otherwise perfect face. Yeah, 2 can play at this game, Donatello. Stand up, I ordered. The blanket still pulled to his chin. He looked at April, then back at me. But, he whimpered. I laughed before tossing him a small wrap blanket that I had placed on the coffee table earlier. I grabbed April's arm and turned her around, giving the now totally red Donatello some privacy to wrap the blanket around himself. Yeah, was all he could say to signal we could turn around now. He had the blanket awkwardly wrapped around his chest in the same way I wrapped a towel around myself after a shower. It just hung above his slightly bony but toned knees. Even as a human, he was still the tallest and most lanky of his brothers. Cute, I remarked as I picked out a single outfit of his shirt, jean socks, and briefs. The briefs I folded under the pants, out of sight of the boys, in order to spare April any more embarrassment. Don't say that in that tone. I'm not cute, he mimicked me. Well, if the dress fits, I chuckled, pointing to the way where he wore the blanket. His brothers burst out in laughter, while Donnie just got redder and redder. It did look like a dress, a cute little red dress. But then I saw his eyes downcast. I had embarrassed him in front of his brothers, and especially in front of his lady, April. I slapped him on the back. You know I'm joking, man. I love you, you know that. Just push in your buttons. I swear April's eyes flashed at the sound of the word love. I hid my grin from her. Okay, let's see what I can do about your wardrobe, or lack of thereof. I placed my hand on Delatello's slim but tan shoulders and focused very hard on the image of an outfit I had in mind, shaping it to be his size. I felt my ring's warm energy flow through me and channel into the clothes in my other hand. When I opened my eyes, I saw that I had succeeded. Victory is mine, I cheered inside my head. Did I know how to do this? No. Have I ever done this before? No. But I felt I would be able to, and I succeeded. I'm like a superhero, but for laundry. Order up, I cheered as I placed the neatly folded outfit into Donatello's hands. The bright purple boxers sat on top, while clutching his blanket/dress to his chest with one hand and balancing his clothes in the other. His not so gracefully made it to the bathroom. Don't trip over your dress, Mikey teased after him. I couldn't wait to see how it looks. 30 seconds later. An exasperated cry rang out from the bathroom. Roxanne, this is not working. Well, didn't see that one coming. What, Einstein can't figure out the quantum physics of a sock? To which Master Splinter, who had been silent for the last 20 minutes, suddenly burst out laughing. It was so sudden, Leonardo and Michelangelo jumped a little in their seats. I've taught my son many things, he explained as he stood, using his cane for support. And in turn, Donatello went on to learn many more. But never in all my life would I have imagined I would have to teach them to put their pants on one leg at a time. I will handle this, Roxanne. It will be amusing. I would imagine that would be amusing. I'm already laughing at that, if you could tell. He chuckled to himself as he passed by me and walked into the bathroom. The door opened again, and he tossed out the red blanket. Send the next one in. Well, what Master Splinter wants, Master Splinter gets. Leo, you're next. I walked over and quickly picked up the blanket, tossing it to a now slightly nervous Leonardo. You heard the lady, Raphael nudged his brother. Soon I had Leonardo and Michelangelo's outfits done, and had them sent to Master Splinter. Then it was Raphael's turn. He stood up, blanket wrapped casually, and very lowly placed it, I may add, on his hips. The red looked great against his tan skin. He noticed my eyes wandering to his abs, something he couldn't previously see under his shell. He chuckled, and that snapped me out of it. I placed my hand on his very muscular shoulders. They felt different from his brother's, broader, sturdier. Even as a human, he was the strongest of the four, though I doubt as strong as when he is a turtle. Somehow the mutation affects muscles, and you are much stronger than as an amphibian. I started focusing on the clothing, my eyes clenched shut in concentration. When I felt a warm hand placed on top of mine, my eyes flew open, undoing my concentration and stopping my magic midway. Raphael placed his large hand over mine, his palm resting right on the ring. A cocky, what's your plan now, grin plastered to his face. I tried to pull my hand back, but he grabbed it and held it there. I wonder if April's watching this right now. If she is, she isn't doing anything about it. I smiled at him and shook my head. Closing my eyes and ignoring him, I finished the clothes, handing it to him and watching as he squeezed himself into the bathroom with his father and brothers. I plopped myself down on the couch as April followed in suit. So, what did you pick for them to wear? She asked. Just wait and see. I winked. They played dress-up with me when I was a turtle. It's only fair I return the favor. Besides, who wouldn't want to pick outfits out for 4 polyester models, right? That made her laugh. Okay, I guess they are pretty cute, she admitted shyly. Pretty cute? I mocked, raising an eyebrow. Okay, they're gorgeous, she squealed. I know, right? I said, smiling wildly at this side of April that I've never seen. I seriously doubt I've ever seen a more gorgeous collection of guys ever. In my life, she guessed. We giggled in unison. I like this, bonding with April over hot boys, typical teenage girl stuff. Granted, they were former mutant turtles, and I'm the alien that made them hot and human, but it's a start. Okay, yelled Leonardo's voice from the bathroom. We're coming out. Chapter 31. The door creaked open. I put my hands over my eyes. What are you doing? April wished. What? I want to be surprised, I said, quickly peeking through my fingers to look at her. I heard Raphael's deep chuckle and the sound of footsteps getting closer and closer. Well, that was a lot harder than expected, I heard Donatello say. I removed my hands from my eyes. My jaw hit the floor. Polyester couldn't even afford these guys as models. I was stunned silent, at a loss for words. If you're going to keep your mouth open like that, you might as well tell us how we look, teased Raphael. I wasn't the only one who he was talking to. I noticed as I looked over at April, she wore the same holy turtle shells expression as me. Leonardo looked amazing, clad in a tight, dark blue sports shirt made of material so thin you could just make out his ab line. Dark green military pants completed with 4 pockets on each leg. I think I unknowingly based this look off of Jason, the Red Ranger from the original Power Rangers series. The whole "don't mess with me, I've obviously have a black belt in martial arts" that you probably couldn't even pronounce look. But Jason was also a karate instructor on the days he wasn't stopping Rita Rupless from taking over the universe. Plus, this was dark green and blue, not red and black like Jason's. Personally, I think Leo wears it better anyways. Donatello, polished, he looked so sexily smart in a purple button-down dress shirt, complete with black pants and a black vest that he left unbuttoned in the front. If this traveler thing doesn't work out, I can always get a job in superhero daywear. Michelangelo, can we say surf's up? A very loose, bright orange button-down shirt with loose short sleeves and tan khaki pants brought out his beautiful blonde hair and bronze skin perfectly. Cowabunga. Seriously, this guy needs a surfboard like stat. Raphael. Oh, Raph. The bad boys are always the most fun to dress. I put him in what I believe is known as a wife-beater red shirt. The cut of it just works for his figure and attitude so well. Paired with the blackest jeans, it was perfect. I stood up, not saying a word. I slowly walked up to Leonardo, tugged his shirt down in places where it was bunched up. I noticed you got a color thing going on here, he told me, referring to the fact that I had them all wearing their mask colors. It's only fitting. Besides, you and your gang of brothers had fun dressing me up. Now it's my turn. I cocked my sideways smile as he stared oddly down at me. Next, I moved to the purple-clad man to his left. I unbuttoned the cuffs on his sleeves and began rolling it up until it was just slightly past his elbow. What's that for? He questioned curiously, following my fingers with his eyes as I rolled up the other one. Trust me, chicks dig this. I sent a nod in April's direction. Oh, okay then. He smiled at the thought of impressing April. Then I got to Mikey. Apparently, Master Splinter had buttoned his collar all the way up. Now, on Donatello, this looks amazing. Really adds to the whole genius thing. But on my laid-back prankster, that simply wouldn't do. I began viciously unbuttoning his shirt, stopping right at the center of his chest. When I looked up, he was blushing red. I chuckled and shook my head. Well, guys, apparently I'm the first one to have a girl undress them, he boasted sarcastically. First off, none of us ever wore clothes to begin with, so I don't know how that scenario got into your head. But in that case, she was just fixing your shirt, Donnie counteracted. Mikey nudged his elbow into Raph's side. Still counts, he smirked. Finally, I got to Raph. Slowly, I walked around him. I couldn't see anything wrong or out of place with the way that he was dressed. I stepped back to get a better look. Something's missing, I rubbed my jaw. Then it hit me. I got it! I cried triumphantly. I reached into April's bag and pulled out this small cotton jacket. I focused, and the light blue cotton began to grow and transform. The blue material stretched into black leather, forming a much larger black jacket with several zippers and clasps at the front. Every rebel without a cause needs one of these, I said, holding the jacket out for Raphael to slip into. It fit perfectly. I stepped back again. Damn. Okay, so that was the next 4 chapters. Yeah, these starting to get good. Yeah, alrighty. Peace out, Knights.